Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. We've got a ton of Q posts, and I want to get through them quick, so I'm going to read them quick. So here we go. At 51 minutes past the hour of 6, we have this. Public interest keep high. Uranium One, FBI informant. Awan, DWS, Packy Intel, MB. Tarmac meeting. SC, LL deal, AS 187. Q says, coincidence? SC, LL deal drop. POTUS tweet, Tarmac, coming soon to a theater near you. Adding on to that at 57 minutes past the hour of 6, side-by-side graphics are important. To be clear, LL was promised the Supreme Court position of RBG. Coordinated, planned, RBG, big problems, Q. 3 minutes after the hour of 7, in response to an Anon who says, we thought it was Scalia, thanks for spelling it out, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I need to fix SCOTUS meme, and there are some attached memes. Q responds to Anon by saying, think timing. LL remains AGHRC. HRC appoints new AS replacement. RBG steps down. LL steps up. New AG, the plan. Q. Adding on to that, at 6 minutes after the hour of 7, where are the autists? Q. 27 minutes after the hour of 7, side-by-side graphic, SSLL deal drops with original timestamps, POTUS tweet, important going forward, Q. Response to an Anon who says, making it now, at 31 minutes after the hour of 7, thank you, Patriot, proofs being lost. At 56 minutes past the hour of 7, Q is responding to an Anon who says SSLL deal drops with original timestamps. Q, is SS correct or a typo? Please clarify. Q says typo. SC equals Supreme Court. At 59 minutes past the hour of 7, in response to an Anon who says done and provides this picture, Q says perfect example of why we are here. Thank you, Patriot. Thank you all. 6 minutes after the hour of 8, focus should also be on Supreme Court promise. Only dropped here. POTUS validating drops via Twitter per plan/timing. Future proves past. Comms understood. Q. And then responding at 13 minutes after the hour of 8, responding to this picture posted by an Anon. Q is obviously confirming. Excuse me. 18 minutes after the hour of 8, has POTUS made a statement found not to be true? Nothing stated should be discounted. Moving fast. Q. Response to an Anon who says, interesting how he don't bother with a question mark at the end of the SC question. It was a statement. Now at 24 minutes past the hour of 8, we have a picture. Q says, the where. Adding on to that, we have a second picture at 8:25. The why. 30 minutes past the hour of 8, 4 clown UIDs here, Armenia. Google QAnon search stats by country. Armenia number 1, Q. Six minutes past the hour of 9, in response to this picture here, SC equals Supreme Court RBG AS 187/clown Black Brennan, Q. Adding on to that, at 10 minutes past the hour of 9, we made sure a reporter was there to capture. These people are stupid. Q. "19 minutes past the hour of 9, we have a link. Q. And then 37 minutes past the hour of 11, reread Five Eyes. Avoid U.S. data collection laws. Hussein. Public. Dossier. FISA. Not public. Five Eyes. UK. AUS POTUS, targeting using pushed RUS decoy meetings, campaign insertions. Hussein, HRC, LL, Brennan, Clapper, NAT, SEC, WH, SIT, RMOP, UK, AUS assist/setup Q. Okay, there are your Q posts. Let's get started about talking about them. Okay, so we're going to start out talking about these first two Q posts because, as you'll see, Q adds on to this, okay? So the post itself is from February. Public interest, keep high. Uranium One, FBI informant, Anon, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Paki Intel, Muslim Brotherhood, Tarmac meeting, SC being Supreme Court, Loretta Lynch deal, and then Antonin Scalia, 187, Q. Q says, coincidence? Supreme Court, Loretta Lynch deal drop. POTUS, tweet, Tarmac, coming soon to a theater near you. Ooh, coming soon to a theater near you. Tarmac, impossible to defend. The nail in many coffins, toxic to those connected. In a world where nothing is what it seems, one man chooses to stand on a plane with Loretta Lynch for hours talking about Tarmac. We have it all. No deals. Boom. Coming soon to a theater near you. So we were on the Tarmac, remember? This was back in June, 2016? Yes, it was. On June 27th, 2016, Attorney General Loretta Lynch met privately with former President Bill Clinton on board a parked private plane at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix, Arizona. The meeting occurred during the then ongoing investigation of Mrs. Clinton's email server, and mere hours before the Benghazi report was released publicly involving both Mrs. Clinton and the Obama administration. Judicial Watch filed a request on June 30th that the U.S. Department of Justice Office of the Inspector General investigates that meeting. Okay, so they were on this Tarmac. It was June 27th, 2016. Now, who knows what they were talking about, right? We don't really know. And we were supposed to find out with this really big interview. It was going to be, remember, it was this big interview. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago. It was on NBC. It was going to be hard hitting. It was going to be super, super dramatic. We were all excited, right? We were all pumped up for this. I had my popcorn. Okay, I bought that expensive snarky tea, and I sat down and I wanted to hear what was going on. Well, what did she end up talking about? She didn't really talk about much, did she? She just said, Loretta Lynch triples down on secret Tarmac meeting. Bill just wanted to come say hello. This is from April 10th, 2018. Former FBI Director James Comey will be out with a tell-all book at the end of the month, and former Attorney General Loretta Lynch is doing her best to get ahead of the story. During a wide-ranging interview Monday with NBC News, Lynch tripled down on her innocent claims about the secret and infamous Tarmac meeting with President Bill Clinton while Hillary Clinton was still under FBI criminal investigation. Just a few days after the meeting, it was announced Clinton would not be prosecuted for repeated mishandling of top-secret classified information. According to Lynch, it was hot outside in Phoenix. It is hot outside in Phoenix on June 29th, especially in June 2016, and Bill simply wanted to come say hello. She didn't initially question his presence and didn't believe it was a conflict of interest because she often spoke with people in public life. It was still 107 degrees outside, and I was told that he wanted to come on the plane and say hello, Lynch said. At first my thought was, I speak to people all the time. People in public life, people not in public life. Lynch then went on to say Clinton didn't just say hello, but they had an extensive conversation. NBC's Lester Holt, remember hard-hitting Lester Holt, didn't follow up by asking what they spoke about. But Lynch had previously claimed the topic of their conversation was purely social and ranged from golf to grandkids. Okay, so remember, man, we had our tea, we had our popcorn, we were so jazzed about this. It was going to be killer. It was going to be the best thing we'd ever seen. It was going to be Tarmac, but it wasn't Tarmac. It was more like the second set of Star Wars, right? We were all pumped and we were like, oh, this is going to be the best thing ever. And then we watched it and we was like, Jar Jar Binks, what? It was just really disappointing. Well, they just said hello, right? But according to this document, okay, on Judicial Watch that we just talked about, Judicial Watch was informed yesterday by the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, that the FBI had located 30 pages of documents related to the June 27, 2000 Tarmac meeting between former Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton, and proposes non-exempt material to be produced no later than November 30th, 2017. So 30 pages of nothing but hello, I guess, just family stuff, golf stuff, and whatever. But let's remember, folks, okay, what was going on here at this time. On June 27th, 2016, During the then ongoing investigation of Mrs. Clinton's email server, that was going on, and mere hours before the Benghazi report was going to be released publicly involving both Mrs. Clinton and the Obama administration. Okay, so this meeting happened on June 27th, 2016. What happened on June 28th? This is from the New York Times, June 28th, 2016. House Benghazi report finds no new evidence of wrongdoing by Hillary Clinton. That's amazing. Washington. Ending one of the longest, costliest, and most bitterly partisan congressional investigations in history, the House Select Committee on Benghazi issued its final report on Tuesday, finding no new evidence of culpability or wrongdoing by Hillary Clinton in the 2012 attacks in Libya that left 4 Americans dead. The 800-page report delivered a broad rebuke of the Defense Department, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the State Department, and the officials who led them for failing to grasp the acute security risk in Benghazi, and especially for maintaining outposts that they could not protect. Okay, so this was a really big deal, folks, and it's still a really big deal. But I just want to take you to the bullet points as to what they essentially found. Among the committee's chief findings, despite authorization from President Obama, no American military forces were deployed to Benghazi on the night of the attacks, and Marines stationed in Spain repeatedly received conflicting orders. Whoa. We got to rewind. Despite authorization from President Obama, no American military forces were deployed to Benghazi on the night of the attacks. Wait a minute. So the president ordered to attack, but you didn't attack? And Marines stationed in Spain repeatedly received conflicting orders. Well, who knows, man? Maybe it was dial-up, and it took a while and they got conflicting orders from the president. It happens, doesn't it? The Libyan forces that helped evacuate Americans from a CIA annex to the Benghazi airport were not part of militias allied with the United States, but were fighters previously loyal to Colonel Muammar al-Gaddafi of Libya. Wow, that's not even close. Susan E. Rice, then the United States ambassador to the United Nations, made numerous false statements about the Benghazi attack on television that one State Department press officer described in an email as off the reservation on 5 networks. Wow. Senior State Department officials, including Mrs. Clinton's Chief of Staff, Cheryl D. Mills, exerted too much influence over the Accountability Review Board that conducted the department's own inquiry, casting doubt on its independence and finding. The Obama administration repeatedly sought to obstruct the Select Committee's investigation by delaying or refusing to respond to requests of documents and testimony. Okay, folks, so I don't want to talk too much about that, but you see what was going on. Some shady stuff was going on in this tarmac. All right, and they were talking about stuff. And the next day, all of a sudden, everything's cool. And it was the same thing with those emails. All right, now it turns out Q's telling us that it looks like the Supreme Court position was going to be offered to Loretta Lynch once Ruth Bader Ginsburg stepped down. It's all been coordinated. It's all been planned. We're going to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but let me get through a few Q posts and you'll see why, because some of these are actually just sort of leading up to a couple other things, all right? So let's take you over to the next post here and we'll scroll down some of these. This is from an Anon who's made some memes here. I can have Supreme Court Justice. Yeah, it's nice. She'd be Aunt Loretta for Supreme Court Justice. Lynch says she regrets tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton about promised Supreme Court. Okay, so this is interesting. Now this opens up a whole new kind of, I don't know what's going on there. Can't see it. All right. So the Anon says, we thought it was Scalia. Thanks for spelling it out. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I need to fix my SCOTUS memes. Yeah, go fix your SCOTUS memes. But nice on you. Think timing. Loretta Lynch remains Attorney General. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton appoints new Antonin Scalia replacement. Ruth Bader Ginsburg steps down. Loretta Lynch steps up. New Attorney General. So that was the plan. Okay, but we've forgotten all about Antonin Scalia, and he died a little bit earlier than June, didn't he? Now, before I talk about Antonin Scalia, I basically want to show you that these next set of posts here, I'm just going to basically skip us up to here because you'll see these posts, all we're trying to do is assemble this graphic right here, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so we just read this post here, okay, talking about Scalia and the whole plan, and then we'll take you over here to where Q says, where are the autists? Okay, Q wants us to move on this stuff. Now, this is what Q's requesting here at 27 minutes past the hour 7. Side-by-side graphic. Okay, SS, which this turns out to be a typo here. Okay, they're meaning Supreme Court. Loretta Lynch deal drops with original timestamps. POTUS tweet. Important going forward. Okay, and then Anon says, making it now, Q. Thank you, Patriot. Proofs being lost. Okay, that means that some of these things that we can prove on some of this stuff's disappearing from the internet, folks. I think you already know that. Stuff's disappearing from the internet, so save stuff offline. Okay, at 56 minutes after the hour 7, then the Anon says, is SS correct or a typo? Q says it's a typo. Okay, I'm moving fast because you can just see that we're kind of assembling it. Now we got an Anon that makes a really good graphic here, the side-by-side graphic. It says done. Q says, perfect example of why we are here. Thank you, Patriot. Thank you all. You can see that Q wants us to put this together. We need these graphics so that we can make our memes. Now, Q's also asking for something here. Focus should also be on Supreme Court promise. Only dropped here. POTUS validating drops via Twitter per plan timing. Future proves past. Comms understood. Okay, so he's saying that if we get these graphics right, then the POTUS can kind of either retweet them or whatever. So the more that we make these great graphics and somebody nails it right here, and that's why we're going to take you here to where Q just simply nods to the number, meaning that's what they want. So let's talk about this picture here, and I think I've got it right here. Excuse me. Now, this is a post on the 8chan board from what looks to be February 6th, 2018. Public interest keep high. Uranium One FBI informant, Awan, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Paki Intel, Muslim Brotherhood, Tarmac meeting, and then we have Supreme Court, LL Deal, Loretta Lynch, and then AS 187. Okay, so what this sounds like here, and I think we went over this back then, is that Q was wanting us to keep this Uranium One thing was in the deal. And if you remember, this is from February 6th, all right? February 7th or 8th. This article's from the 8th, but we have the FBI informant on Uranium One breaks silence. Okay, I don't want to go into that story, but just so you know, that was what was going on the timeline. Okay, sorry, let me take you over to this. This one's better. Okay, then we have April 2nd, 2018, and we have another reference to the tarmac. Okay, over here, April 15th, Donald Trump. Comey throws Attorney General Lynch under the bus. Why can't we all find out what happened on the tarmac in the back of the plane with Wild Bill and Lynch? Was she promised a Supreme Court seat or Attorney General in order to lay off Hillary? No golf and grandkids talk. Give us all a break. Yeah, that's true. Well, but Loretta Lynch said they didn't talk about anything. Wait a minute. We didn't ask Comey. We didn't ask Comey what he said. What did Comey say? Well, this is what Comey's saying. Comey describes how Loretta Lynch's credibility gap propelled him into Clinton email saga. For James Comey, politics is perception. Just look at his relationship with Loretta Lynch. In an exclusive interview ahead of the highly anticipated April 17th release of his book, A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership, the former FBI director told ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos that he personally announced details of the inquiry into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server because former Attorney General Loretta Lynch lacked the credibility to do so herself. Whoa! I actually thought, as bad as this will be for me personally, this is my obligation to protect the FBI and the Justice Department, Comey said. Given all that had gone on, the Attorney General of the United States could not credibly announce this result, and if she did, it would do corrosive damage to the institutions of justice. Comey appears conflicted when discussing Lynch, weighing the respect he says he has to this day for his former boss against his concerns that her impartiality into the Clinton email investigation might be questioned. Lynch ordered Comey to describe the FBI's inquiry into Clinton's handling of classified information as a matter rather than an investigation, he told Stephanopoulos, raising questions about whether the Obama appointee was seeking to protect a political ally. When asked by Stephanopoulos if Lynch's semantic suggestion was done in an effort to protect Clinton, Comey said, "I didn't know. It worried me. It gave me an uncomfortable feeling because the Clinton campaign, since the matter had come in, the investigation that started in July, had been trying to come up with other words to describe it, and it did worry me that the Attorney General's direction was tracking that effort to avoid using the word investigation," Comey said. Okay, so we get this tarmac meeting. And the day after the tarmac meeting, we get that all of a sudden this becomes a kind of a matter. It's not an investigation anymore. It's a matter. And then Benghazi magically goes away, and it looks like Aunt Loretta was going to be proposed to be on the Supreme Court once Bader Ginsburg steps down. But we also had this guy, Scalia. Well, what about Scalia? We keep forgetting about Scalia. Well, here we got the graphic here. March 11th, 1936 to February 13th, 2016, was an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1986 until his death in 2016. Appointed to the court by President Ronald Reagan in 1986, Scalia was described as the intellectual anchor for the originalist and textualist position in the court's conservative wing. Wow. And then we have this note here from back on the other article. Judicial Watch was informed yesterday by U.S. Department of Justice that the FBI has located 30 pages of documents related to the June 27, 2016 tarmac meeting between former Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton, and proposes non-exempt material be produced no later than November 30th, 2017. Wow. Okay, so Scalia first, Ginsburg would be next, and then Loretta Lynch would be in. Well, who's going to take over for these people? I don't really know. But this seems interesting indeed, doesn't it? All right. So, we're over here on the Business Insider. This is from February 16th, 2016. Poisonous and grossly irresponsible conspiracy theories are floating about Justice Antonin Scalia's death. Conspiracy theories that Justice Antonin Scalia was murdered on Saturday are circling the internet. The predominantly right-wing conspiracy theorists, okay, there you go again, the predominantly right-wing conspiracy theorists who believe foul play might have been involved point out that Scalia's cause of death has not been officially determined and an autopsy was never ordered. Some note that Scalia, who died at 79, was pronounced dead over the phone and was allegedly found later with a pillow over his head. Well, some note. Yeah, lots of people note that. Others point out that Scalia had declined a security detail for his weekend visit to the Cibolo Creek Ranch in Texas. Okay, I don't want to talk a lot about this, but like this guy says here, we discovered the judge in bed, a pillow over his head, his bedclothes were unwrinkled. So this guy was found dead, and he was at this Cibolo Creek Ranch in Texas, and it was really, really strange, and I think we'll go more into the possible causes of his death at another time, but let's just say this was a big deal, okay? This was a Supreme Court justice, okay? And just months later, we start talking about new appointments and everything like that, and if you remember, it was a big problem on both sides of the aisle. Okay. Oh, it looks like we got a new Q post as we're talking here. Okay. So let's take you back now to all of this. And this should show us a good timeline. And let's look at these two and then this one right here. See if I can make that bigger for you. There we go. Public interest keep high. Uranium One FBI informant. Okay, we know that. That was the next day. The Uranium One informant came out. That was February. All right. Awan. That was the Pakistani, it essentially was the Pakistani intel, okay? Remember, Imran Awan, he was arrested trying to leave the country, and everyone fired him, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz didn't. She still needed him. He was that tech guy. He was the Paki intel, and he was also related to the Muslim Brotherhood, okay? So, somehow, all that information that was getting passed leads to this tarmac deal, okay? And now, Loretta Lynch gets promised this. And again, now we have Antonin Scalia, 187. So evidently Q thinks that Antonin Scalia was also murdered. Okay? Coincidence? And then this is the post from today. SCLL deal drop, POTUS tweet, tarmac, coming soon to a theater near you. And it's this tweet right here, okay, saying Comey throws AG Lynch under the bus. Yeah, they're disagreeing. She's saying that he didn't have a problem when she said it was a matter and it wasn't an investigation, it was just a matter. And he was saying it didn't make me feel comfortable because I'm Joe Friday and I think everything makes me uncomfortable if I'm not the man of the law. Okay, and now he's got his book coming out today. Why can't we all find out what happened on the tarmac in the back of the plane with Wild Bill and Lynch? Yeah, I've been talking for 20 minutes and I still can't figure it out. Wild Bill and Lynch, what were they talking about? Okay, was Lynch just like, hey, how do I get to Scottsdale from here? And Bill's like, oh, I got a private plane. A friend's got a private plane. Take you to an island. It's not Scottsdale, but it'll take you to an island. She's like, no, I just want to go to Scottsdale. Who knows, man? But it was 30 pages worth of stuff that everybody wanted to see. Okay, and now she's getting promised a Supreme Court seat. Was that the case? Or Attorney General in order to lay off Hillary? Well, they did lay off Hillary. They sure did. The important thing, folks, here is this timeline really essentially here. Build timeline. Antonin Scalia, 187. Okay, so he was killed first. Then Hillary Rodham Clinton investigation pivot points, meaning that it no longer it becomes a matter now. Okay. Then we had the James Comey dismissal letter. Okay. He decides that we're not going to do it. Later on, he reopens the investigation, but that was yet. Okay. Then number 2, P.S. I'm assuming that's Peter Strzok, because Peter Strzok's essentially Jim Comey's mouthpiece. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what that means with his action in the timeline. I think that's where he entered the investigation. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure on that. But then we have the WikiLeaks comm. I'm assuming that's the WikiLeaks comms. Okay. Which of course opens up a can of worms with the letters. And then there's the talk of course, Podesta and all that stuff too. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of all this is a timeline. Okay, at 18 minutes past the hour of 8, Q responds to an Anon who says, interesting how he don't bother with a question mark at the end of the SC question. It was a statement. And Q says, has POTUS made a statement found not to be true? Nothing stated should be discounted. Moving fast. Okay. Well, yeah, and all these statements right here, it's clearly, seems really clearly here, there's murder involved here. And, there was a clear plan to usurp the Supreme Court. Let's move on over here. Now, as you'll see here at 8:24 on the right side, Q posts one picture and then Q posts these 2 pictures here. So let me take you to them. Okay, here's the first one. Excuse me, let me back it up. Okay. And then you have this picture as well. Now, what are these things? Well, folks, you're in luck. I had just so happened to have been to China a few times. And I can tell you right here, I've changed money, not at this particular branch, but at this bank. It is not the China National Bank, as some think. It is actually, I believe, the China CITIC Bank, CITIC, CITIC Bank. But we're not talking about the bank over here. We're talking about, where are we? We're in Shenzhen, China. That's where we are. That's the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. There's a picture right there, and here's a pretty one of it. Okay, so there we go. So you can see the ticker running across the front. Well, what do they do at the stock exchange? They do stocks and stuff like that. Oh, look at this thing right there. That doesn't look like a banker thing. That looks like some CERN stuff right there, right? We got some swirly stuff. We got some, I don't know, some of you people who know about all this symbology stuff will be able to tell me what this is, but I know when something's weird, right? I mean, I know it's China. Look, in China you see dragon stuff everywhere. You really, really do. And it's cool, but yeah, so we've got this thing right here. We've got a couple dragons. We got, of course, we've always got an eye. We've always got an eye. And who is that? Is that Shiva like that? Is that like the CERN thing? I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, this is the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. Why are we looking at the Shenzhen Stock Exchange? Well, let's talk to Q. Q says the where and the why. Wow, that's very interesting indeed. Well, what happened in Shenzhen? What happened in Shenzhen? Oh, by the way, this is the logo right here. China CITIC Bank. I'm pretty sure it's this bank. Okay? So, let me take you over to Google Maps real quick. Excuse me, right here. And this is the location of the Shenzhen Stock Exchange operation. As you can see, you can see where it says it, but I don't see it on the map. Here's the splitting roads right there. Right where you see the splitting roads. Okay. You can see them right there even better. There it is. So there it is, but you go to Google Maps, and that's what you get. So, I don't know. Go figure. Well, anyway, what's going on in China? What's going on in Shenzhen? Let me take you to Breitbart. This is off the 23rd of June, 2016. Clinton cash. Bill and Hillary created their own Chinese foundation in 2014. These people, these humanitarians, you know what I've noticed about these humanitarians? They have a lot of foresight. I respect that. I respect foresight. Okay, on Wednesday, in a wide-ranging speech criticizing Hillary Clinton's record and fitness of office, Donald Trump renewed questions about the Clintons, their eponymous foundation, and their financial relationships with China. In 2011, while Hillary Clinton was serving as Secretary of State, Bill Clinton received $750,000 for 2 speeches, paid for by a Chinese business group and an entity controlled by the Chinese government. Those 2 paid speeches merely scratched the surface of the Clintons' China syndrome. According to Clinton Foundation 990S, Reviewed by Breitbart News, the Clintons set up a separate entity, the Clinton Foundation Hong Kong, in 2014. The filing doesn't detail any specific activity by the new foundation, noting simply that its mission is to undertake programs of the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation. There's those foundations. Although it is a separate and distinct foundation, it is controlled by the BHCC Foundation, according to 990 filings. Okay. But has Clinton ever been to Shenzhen? Well, this is off of Reuters here in July 15th, 2011. Clinton to end Asia trip with Shenzhen, China visit. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will end a lengthy trip to Asia by meeting Chinese State Councilor Dai Bingguo in Shenzhen, China on July 25th, the U.S. State Department said on Thursday. The department offered little detail on the substance of the talk, saying they would cover bilateral issues as well as regional and global issues of common concern. Topics are likely to include efforts to rein in the Iranian and North Korean nuclear programs, the popular uprisings in the Arab world, and territorial disputes in the China Sea. Okay, folks, so the fact of the matter is I don't know exactly what we're looking at here in Shenzhen, China. We're looking at the stock exchange. We know the Clinton Foundation, as well as all these other humanitarians. They do these things. They build these foundations. More importantly, I think when China, they build these LLCs. And what that helps them do is it helps them avoid a lot of laws. And I think even according to Q, it's going to help them avoid U.S. data collection laws. We'll get into that. But who knows? Is this where they're getting information? Is this where they were exchanging information? Is this where they were paying people? Is this where money was going through? And is there a Q team right now watching it? I don't know. Time will tell, and some of you guys can kind of clear it up, but I want to move on because there's so much information here. Okay. 30 minutes past the hour of 8, we have foreign kill brackets, clown UIDs here. I'm going to assume that's user IDs or user identifications of some sort. Armenia. Google QAnon search stats by country. Armenia is number 1. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute, but basically what it sounds like is we got some CIA guys from Armenia, and there are CIA in Armenia. And if we Google the stats, evidently that these guys are searching Q. Why are they searching Q? Not sure, but we'll talk about it in a second. Now, at 6 minutes past the hour of 9, here's this post again. And Q, I think, just kind of succinctly wraps up. Supreme Court, so that we understand that SC now is Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Anthony Scalia was murdered. And evidently, maybe this was ordered by Black CIA Brennan. But evidently, Q is linking Brennan to Antonin Scalia's murder. Sorry, I think it's Antonin, not Anthony. Anyway, so in addition to that, Q says, we made sure a reporter was there to capture. These people are stupid. Well, yeah, if you're from the Phoenix area, you know this. How a local Arizona reporter broke the bombshell Clinton Lynch story. This is from July 1st, 2016. Interesting timing indeed, yeah? The meeting between Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former President Bill Clinton might not have been known if not for a local reporter who received a tip about it. Christopher Sine, morning anchor at ABC 15 in Phoenix, joined Bill O'Reilly to go over his bombshell report. Sine explained that he received a tip from a trusted source about the meeting and then met with management at the station. Naturally, my jaw dropped, he called. Okay, that's all we're going to say. But look, we knew this, okay? Evidently, Q is saying that that was all set up, and I think some of us kind of already knew that. Okay, folks. Now we got to go to this. I believe I've got it right here. So, let me just take you to the top. This is from Susan Hirschman, Executive Director of the Eagle Forum, to the Senate Judiciary Committee regarding Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm just going to read some bits here. I'm going to include this. It's a long PDF, and there's lots here. I'm just going to highlight a couple spots because there's actually, you can read almost all 18 pages of these. Are pretty interesting stuff. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's writings show her to be a radical, doctrinaire, feminist, far out of the mainstream. She shares the chip-on-the-shoulder radical feminist view that American women have endured centuries of oppression and mistreatment from men. That's why, in her legal writings, she self-identifies with feminist Sarah Grimke's statement, "All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks," and with feminist Simone de Beauvoir's put-down of women as the second sex. De Beauvoir's most famous quote is, "Marriage is an obscene bourgeois institution." Wow, okay, so we know all this affirmative action and stuff like that. She's a real social justice warrior, right? But look, this is one, and I've seen a couple other Q channels. This is the one that really sticks out with me, though. Now, and trust me, this is a lot of stuff about ideals of feminism. And let me just read you through these bullet points. Women must be drafted when men are drafted. Women must be assigned to military combat duty. The age of consent for sexual acts must be lowered to 12 years old. Folks, the age of consent for sexual acts must be lowered to 12 years old. Eliminate the phrase carnal knowledge of any female, not his wife, who has not attained the age of 16 years, and substitute a federal sex-neutral definition of the offense. A person is guilty of an offense if he engages in a sexual act with another person, and the other person is, in fact, less than 12 years old. Other highlights in her bio have: bigamists must have special privileges that other felons don't have. Prostitution must be legalized. It's not sufficient to change the law to... Okay, so you get the idea. This lady's pretty radical. Okay. Moving on to the next post. At 37 minutes past the hour of 11, we have reread 5 Eyes. Avoid U.S. data collection laws. Hussein. Public. Dossier. FISA. Not public. 5 Eyes. UK. Australia. POTUS targeting using pushed Russian decoy meetings / campaign insertions. Hussein. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Loretta Lynch. Brennan. Clapper. National Security. I'm wondering if this is I'm wondering if that's White House Situation Room, I think. OP could be White House Situation Room Operation. I'm not sure. Operation has been used as original poster before, and also Operation, but I'm assuming it's Operation. So it could be National Security White House Situation Room Operation. Don't know. UK, Australia assist setup. Okay. Oh man, 5 Eyes. Where do we hear the 5 Eyes? Snowden tells us 5 Eyes spy network has second video from Hong Kong interview released. Hey, look at all those countries. US, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Canada have deep intelligence connection that goes beyond sharing data, whistleblower says. Deep cooperation in intelligence gathering went beyond sharing information between national security agencies, whistleblower Edward Snowden said as a second video from earlier interview emerged on Monday. This is off the South China Morning Post. Snowden revealed more information about government cyberspying and covert surveillance in an interview with security software and encryption expert Jacob Appelbaum, published by German news magazine Der Spiegel on Sunday. He also claimed the U.S. National Security Agency worked with Israel on the Stuxnet worm, which was used in a cyber attack on an Iranian nuclear facility. That's funny because Hillary was just trying to avoid that kind of thing happening. Intelligence agencies aided one another on persons of interest and a don't-ask basis of mutual understanding, he said. On Monday, a second video of Snowden was released by The Guardian, part of an interview that was conducted on June 6th, in a hotel room in Hong Kong. In it, the whistleblower said the U.S. would accuse him of aiding the enemies after he leaked information about the National Security Agency surveillance program. Okay, I don't want to read the whole thing. It's already a long video, but I just want to say here's a quote. What they have been trying to do is get as much information as possible, but on the other hand, more countries are involved in sharing information. If we are a target, we are one of the hundreds of targets. Okay, so it looks like whatever they're doing in China, maybe they were avoiding data collection laws. They could do things, they could pull things over, they could set up things. Look, Snowden was based out of Hong Kong. We had that arrest in Hong Kong some months back. Okay, so what were these guys doing here? I don't know. Was this was this the means in which we were able to obtain the FISA dossier? I'm not sure, but it sounds like that could be. Maybe that was just the public story, and when the real not public story was the fact that everybody was spying on us. That's what I'm kind of thinking, okay? Hussein, Hillary Rodham Clinton, all these people, maybe they even spied on the White House Situation Room. Maybe there was an operation to do that and data collect from there. I'm not sure. Were the UK and Australia sitting and setting up? I don't know. But some of these countries, or a lot of these countries, were donating to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, which, by the way, is an LLC, and they are based out of China, if you want to know. Okay. So now it takes us to the new post this we just got here, and this is an Anon who looks like they went and did the search here, and it looks like as of November we've got lots of searching for Q in Armenia. The Anon says, very well, so search for anything before October 2017 if you want to split hairs. The data shows that the keyword didn't start trending until November. Fair enough. I think we get what's going on. We've got some Armenian disinformation here in the Q camp, and Q says distraction. They are here in force. Okay, folks, sorry for the long video. It's hard to get really clear and still get all this bulk. As you can see, this is a lot of Q material to go through, so don't nail me to the cross if I'm wrong on some of this stuff, but I hope that kind of helps you complete or at least continue the narrative. Let me know what you guys find, what you guys think, and however you can help out, or if you think that I might have missed some things that the rest of us need to know. I do suggest reading this PDF, but it is rather disturbing. Okay, as to what happens in China, we'll see. Will we get some more picture? Will we get some more live video? Will we get some more hijinks ensuing? Who knows? All right, until next time, those are your Q posts. My name is Sir Patrick Mack, and until I see you again, keep optimistic.